On this episode, commitment spikes necessity. Hey everybody, this is the Quarter Show, and we're talking about commitment spiking necessity. One thing I wanted to dive into is commitment itself, necessity itself. It's a very important factor in terms of driving sales, in terms of driving business, in terms of anything. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to find a way to manufacture necessity. You have to find a way to create it. And I'm actually wrapping a book right now, and it's talking about the thread of so many different entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley that came from different areas. They were immigrants, or they came from very tough situations in the Ukraine and in China and in Brooklyn and in all sorts of different dynamics. But there's that constant necessity, that constant drive among many very powerful people that have now become billionaires, have built companies like Facebook and Google and all these other companies. And you'd be amazed if you read the stories behind some of these people and you look at where they've come from and what's sort of created that drive, what's created that vigor and that necessity. And it's fascinating to kind of tie it all together. There's very few people that succeed without it. And in business, especially when you do well, that can sort of be fleeting to some degree. It can sort of dissipate. And that means you have to keep it in. You have to figure out a way to sort of keep that going at all times and drive that necessity day in and day out every single day, and you have to keep it there. And the way to do it is, one of the ways to do it anyway, is to commit. So when you're looking at a sales target, let's say, or you're looking at even a growth target, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're not in sales, you're an entrepreneur, you have to look at a target or a goal that you're trying to accomplish. And let's just say you're going after something for the week or the quarter or the day, for that matter. You hear people say, what's your target, for example, and you hear people say, well, I would like to have, or I want to have, or I'm going for, and that's a mistake, because you don't enforce the commitment on yourself, right? You have to do something that you're going to keep the integrity in, and you can't break that promise with yourself. And so you have to force that commitment on yourself. So you need to say something along the lines of, I'm doing X, I'm doing 50,000, or I'm driving to this target. I'm going to accomplish this. I'm going to do. It's got to be something where it's emphatic. It's a complete commitment. And you have that little gulp where you're like, oh God, I just said that. And there's a difference. There's a difference from the person who says, I want to do, because there's that element that lets you off the hook. You know it. It's true. It lets you off the hook a little bit when you say, I want to do blah, blah, blah. There's an element of like, if you miss it, it's okay, because you didn't actually totally 100% commit to it. And you have to vocalize the commitment. And you say, I'm going to do this. I'm doing this. And even write it down on a little sticky note, put it on your desk, write it down in your moleskin or wherever you put it, right? I'm doing this. And there's a difference, and that commitment kind of sinks in, and your personal integrity kicks in, and you're like, you can't break a promise with yourself. And from there, that's when necessity really comes in. Necessity really pushes you, because now you just decided and you stated it and you committed to it, and now necessity starts to sort of get manufactured and kick in to go and pull it off.
I was just talking to a friend of mine the other night, and he, fairly successful guy, and he'd reached a point, for various reasons. Actually, there was one reason. He'd reached a point very, very recently where he did not have a job currently, and finances were not going well, and the house that he was having built was suddenly not going to be his. And I just sat down and listened to him talk with me for about 3 hours, and then I just said, you need to make up your mind on this, and make up your mind on this, and make up your mind on this. And there were three main areas where he was going two different directions. He really wanted one thing, but he was also, because of circumstances, being also driven another direction. So he wasn't committed to, he wanted the house, there was a particular job he wanted, and there was one other area. But the point is, he wasn't He wasn't committed in a direction. He had been influenced by other factors to be taken off of what he wanted. So he just went home and he just made up his mind and he wrote them down, stated what he was going to do. He's moving into the house. He just got a job with a 4-year contract, like 48 hours later.
Nice.
And then there was one other item anyway, but like he just made up his mind, and then suddenly the puzzle pieces come together, and now he's able to run. Because having yourself not committed, it was bringing him down so hard that he couldn't get the necessity level up. He's the provider for his family and 2 children. And he knows it, and that was caving him in too.
Yeah.
So like whatever area you're in, you got to commit to that thing. Like for me, you know, like prior to Richter, you know, I'm a philosophy major, and I'm like, you know, social structures, and you know, I don't like any of it, and I don't want to do paperwork and blah. But I get on board with Richter, and I examine this company, what we do, how we go about it, what the people are like, and I'm like, now this I can get behind. This I can commit to. We need a fight song. We need somebody get me a music sheet, you know, like let's go, you know. And then now like, and there a lot of our team is like this. Most everyone at Richter is like this, and now you can feel it. They want this group and this team to like thrive, and they really want it, and they can feel it. Anyway, it's really true.
It is.
One and then the other. Commit, and then you get your energy.
It is. It's so true. It's powerful stuff, you know. And people's lives can wreck people's lives by them literally not committing. Not committing. They never really commit. You can see it. You can ask people questions and different things like that. And there's a lot of people, and you have to pay attention to the wordage and verbiage that people say, but they'll say things that are halfway or sort of, but they know they can get out. You've probably done this. And you say something, but you know if you miss, it's okay, or if you don't do it, it's okay, because there's this out about the way you say it.
And that's the problem that you were just talking about just the other day. The people associate a penalty with committing to something.
Yeah.
We all do it. We all think if I don't, then I'm bad and I should be executed, or something like this weird bad thing should happen. If I say, I'm doing X dollars today for my company and myself and my family. Oh no, I've said it. Now if I don't make it, my wife's gonna divorce me, my boss is gonna fire me, and I'm gonna be out on the street.
That's right, and that's an excellent point, because I think a lot of people are afraid to commit. They're afraid to say the thing. They're afraid to say, I'm doing 50,000 this week.
Yeah.
Right? They're afraid to say that, because heaven forbid if they say that and they commit entirely and they do 40,000, something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever it is, they don't know. Something bad's gonna happen. I think there's probably consequences and other things that people have done perhaps in the past, I'm not sure, but I know here, we don't penalize people for hitting 40 instead of 50. What we want is we want people to commit. We want them to commit to a target. Look, the truth is I miss almost every target that I set. But that's just a symptom of setting high targets. That's just a symptom of committing and going full tilt at certain things. I hit them, I hit some, but I miss a lot of them, frankly. But I miss them high. Like, I miss them high, you know? If I go after something, I might set a target for X dollar figure or X goal or whatever, but I miss it high. And I'm okay with where I end up. You know, but it's more important to me that I fully commit and not set some kind of airy-fairy thing where it's kind of like, oh, maybe, and if I don't miss it, we're all good, and it's super safe territory.
Yeah, because there's lip service too, right? On the one hand, you go, well, I'd like to do, and you're not really committed to anything. I want to hit, and like whatever target or whatever area, and on the other hand, there's like, yeah, boss, I'm doing 50 grand this week, you know, and you don't really give a darn. You know that's what he wants to hear. It's not really your thing, but you go, I'm going to do 50 this week, and you know, you start planning. It doesn't mean it all is on your lineup right now, but you're like, what do I need to do to hit that target? Well, I probably need to plan for 5 times that amount in order to even have a shot at getting there. And so you start working that out, right? That's not lip service. Now you're committed to the target.
Yeah, your actions are following it through. You're committed, and you're like, good, I'm doing 50,000 this week. And now you're working it backwards and going, good, how do I piece it together? You're getting to work on it, you're getting into the mechanics.
Yeah.
Whereas people are giving the boss the lip service to say, oh yeah, boss, we're gonna do 50 grand. And it's like, you didn't personally commit. You didn't say, I'm doing this.
You made the first step in at least saying those words. You may not have meant them, right? There's obviously gradient scales. There's all sorts of things.
But the bottom line is, it's very powerful stuff. If you commit to yourself, you commit to yourself. You state it, you write it down, you commit. All necessity is going to be driven from there. You know, from there, now that you've done it, and I don't care if you're planning a trip to go to Hawaii, I'm telling you that this same thing applies, whether you're doing sales or you're doing something else. People are like, oh, I want to go on vacation. It's like, when are you gonna, you've never even decided and committed to do it, let alone drive the necessity to pull it off, let alone like the steps and everything else, right? And some people are like, that day just comes or never comes, right? It's just like, oh yeah, that'd be nice, but you never put the commitment there, or the decision, or whatever you want to say. But the commitment drives necessity. Once you fully commit, then you take it on. You almost feel that thing that happens. You're like, oh God, okay, and then it drives necessity. And necessity is a powerful mover. You know, you want to get up off your ass.
Keister.
Right? Keister.
Oh, ass. Okay, yeah.
ASS. Drive necessity.
That's right.
Manufacture necessity. You know, and that's going to drive your deals, because it's very hard to stop somebody who's driven by necessity, by their like the ambition, or that necessity kind of pulls you along. It's very hard to articulate, but there's something related to commitment, which spikes necessity, which helps you get things done. But if you never commit, this is never manufactured, and yeah, you'll have ebbs and flows. There'll be some necessity here because you got bills, or you have this and that. But you don't want to wait for those events. You don't want to wait for like, oh my God, you know, bills or this or that. You want to manufacture necessity day in and day out. The way to do it is with commitment. Okay?
Totally.
So hopefully that goes in. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Hit them in the comments, and we can elaborate or go for it further if you need. And of course, if you like the episode, hit the little like button there. We certainly appreciate it. I think it helps get the episode out on YouTube and things like that. And of course, share it on social. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the show. Okay? Thanks for watching. We'll have more coming at you soon.